So welcome to another night at Sharps in Isolation. Great to see you all here. Great to see some faces we've not seen for a while, I think. And we're going to be starting with one of those in the shape of Tom Finn. Good to see you tonight, Tom. And after Tom, could we have a song from Graham Baldwin, please?
Okay, am I good to go?
Yep.
Right. Okay, tomorrow is Tommy Makem's birthday, and so I'm going to sing a Tommy Makem song called "The Little Beggarman." I am a little beggar man, a begging I have been for 60 or more in this little Isle of Green. I'm known from the Liffey down to Killaloe, and I'm known by the name of Old Johnny Do. Of all the trades a-going, sure begging is the best, for when a man gets tired he can sit down and rest. He can beg for his dinner, he's got nothing else to do but to slip around the corner with his old rig-a-doo. I slept in a barn one night in Currabon, a shocking wet night it was, but I slept till dawn. Holes in the roof and the rain seeping through, and the rats and the cats they were playing peekaboo. Who should awaken but the woman of the house, with her white spotted apron and her calico blouse. She began to frighten when I said boo. Ah, now don't be afraid, ma'am, it's only Johnny Do. Nyat, nyat, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. Newt night, newt night, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. I met a little flaxy-haired girl one day. Good morning, little flaxy-haired girl, I did say. Good morning, little beggar man, and how do you do? With your rags and your tags and your old rig-a-doo. I'll buy a pair of leggings, a collar and a tie, and a nice young lady I will fetch by and by. I'll buy a pair of stockings and I'll colour them blue, and an old-fashioned lady I will make her too. Nyat, nyat, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. Newt night, newt night, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. Over the hills with me bag on me back, over the hills with me big heavy sack. Holes in me shoes and me toes peeping through, with me skin and my link-a-doodle and me old rig-a-doo. I must be going to bed, for it is getting late at night. The fire is all right, so it's out with the light. So now you've heard the story of me old rig-a-doo. So good night and God be with you from old Johnny Do. Nyat, nyat, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. Newt night, newt night, newt night, nya, skiddery newt night, newt night, newt night, nya. That's it. Thank
you. Lovely.
Who said the judge wore inverted scat?
The best nonsense word chorus in the world, really. Okay. I've got a message saying I'm still muted. Am I still muted, or can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's talking nonsense, actually. Zoom very frequently does some nonsense thing to start off with and then settles down. So, a bit like Tom. Okay, so Graham Baldwin's our next singer, and then one from Clive Woolf, please. Graham Baldwin, excitingly this week, Sans Echo.
Yes, helps a great deal if you have to go and revisit all of your settings if you update Zoom. So I had a choice to make this week, whether to sing a song about Bonfire Night, which is just a couple of days away, or something which is a little bit more somber, that is Remembrance Day, which is coming up next week. And I opted for Remembrance Day. So here's a Remembrance Day song. And it's a relatively modern song. It's only about 40 years old. It's written by a Canadian, a fellow called Paul Clark, for a play called Days of Pride, produced at Milton Keynes, actually. And it was based on the recollections of the Battle of Arras by a fellow called Horton Munday from Buckinghamshire. Our great attack had failed, with nothing left to give. Our wounded hanging in the wire had little time to live. German shells came streaming down, to shred them where they lay, abandoned in the valley of the shadow. The torn and shattered fields, the bits of wire and steel, no blade of grass or branch or leaf to make the place seem real. Ancient traveller passing by just couldn't help but say, this surely is the valley of the shadow. The battleground at night would look as bright as day, as very flares turn blackness into ugly, lifeless grey. The twisted shapes that once were men in senseless patterns lay, the tenants of the valley of the shadow. The paintings of that scene be hung upon the wall, in rooms where governments decide if men should stand or fall. We'd never go to war again if leaders had their say, while looking at the valley of the shadow. Thanks, guys.
Lovely stuff, Graham. I'm sure we'll have more remembrance songs over the next few weeks. That was the first one that I remember, so great. A reminder to everyone who can use the chat, if you could please put the name of your song and the writer as well in the chat. That's really helpful. If you don't use the chat, don't worry about it. Clive Woolf, you are next, and after Clive, one from Steve Suffet, please. It would be good if we could hear you, Clive.
Pardon? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, that's great.
Right. This is a song called The Crafty Farmer's Daughter, or The Highwayman Outwitted, or if you're American, From Rags to Riches. And it was collected from a woman, or let's say the tune was Kate Thompson from Yorkshire somewhere. And as I say, it's called The Highwayman Outwitted. Better still, is of a rich farmer in Cheshire, to the market his daughter would go, not thinking that any should harm her. She'd been that way oft times before. She was met by a ruffian highwayman, who caused the young woman to stand. Your money and gold now deliver, or else which sweet life is at hand. And he stripped this fair damsel stark naked, and he gave her his bridle to hold. She stood there a shivering and shaking, near starving to death with the cold. But she put her left foot in the stirrup, and she mounted the horse like a man. Over hedges and ditches she galloped, crying, catch me, bold rogue, if you can. For she led him through plains and through valleys, to the place that she knew very well. She left him a parcel of farthings, the sum was 5 shillings to tell. And the bold rogue soon followed after, which caused him to puff and to blow. Thank God that he never did catch it, So she came to her father's own door. Oh, daughter, dear daughter, what's happened? Oh, father, to you I will tell. I was met by a ruffian robber. Thank God he has done me no harm. Put the grey mare into the stable and spread the white sheet on the floor. She stood there counting the money. She counted 5,000 or more. £5,000 is a big fortune. Dear daughter, I'll give you 5 more. £10,000 is a big fortune to keep the wild wolf from the door. And now she's a lady of honour, and she in a carriage does ride, with servants to wait and to pardon her, and a footman to ride by her side. End.
Well done, Clive.
Well done, Clive.
Yeah.
From rags to riches indeed. Thank you, Clive. Okay, Steve Suffet's our next singer, and after Steve, one from David Kidman.
Okay, I just unmuted myself. I hope everyone can hear me. And this song was based upon a true incident that took place in St. Louis, Missouri in the United States 125 years ago approximately. And the moral of the story, I'll tell you right away, is that alcohol and firearms don't mix very well. Stagolee was a bad man, everybody knows. Spent $100 just to buy a suit of clothes. He was a bad man. His name was Stagolee. Now, if you want to sing along with me, that chorus, the refrain is almost always the same. So you could mute yourself and join with me. I'll do that first verse again. Stagolee was a bad man, everybody knows. Spent $100 just to buy a suit of clothes. He was a bad man. His name was Stagolee. Now Stagolee shot bitter lines. What do you think about that? Shot him down in cold blood 'cause he stole his Stetson hat. He was a bad man. His name was Stagolee. Now Billy's wife come running, fell down on her knees. Mr. Bad Man Stagolee, don't kill my husband, please. You are a bad man. Your name is Stagolee. Now what do I care, said Stagolee, if you are Billy's wife, who went and stole my Stetson hat, and I'm gonna take his life. I am a bad man. My name is Stagolee. Now the sheriff said to his deputy boss, says, come here, deputy. I want you to take my 6-gun and go capture Stagolee. He is a bad man. His name is Stagolee. But the deputy says to the sheriff boss, put the gun back on your shelf. That's mean old Mr. Stagolee. You could catch him by yourself. He is a bad man. His name is Stagolee. Well, they sent for the militia. Whole damn army come. They finally captured Stagolee with a great big Gatling gun. He is a bad man. His name is Stagolee. Now the judge had said to Stagolee, Mr. Bad Man Stagolee, gonna hang your body high, gonna set your spirit free. You are a bad man. Your name is Stagolee. 12 o'clock they hanged him, was on the scaffold high. Last words we heard him say were, my 6-gun don't lie. I am a bad man. My name is Stagolee. Now Stagolee says to the devil, gonna have some fun. Go jab me with that pitchfork, boy, and I'll shoot you with my gun. I am a bad man, and my name is Stagolee. So Stagolee says to the devil, put that pitchfork on the shelf. I mean old Mr. Stagolee, and I'm gonna rule hell by myself. I am a bad man. Last time. My name is Stagolee.
Oh, great.
Stagolee. Wish I wrote that song, but I didn't. It's traditional.
And surely you're the only folk song that talks about a Gatling gun.
Not the only one.
Okay, great stuff. Enjoyed singing along as well there. Okay, David Kidman's our next singer, and after David, it will be James Eagle.
Right, yeah. I think somebody said there wasn't another song that mentioned the Gatling gun. I haven't got that one today, no. It's November, so it's time for this seasonal ditty. Welcome, cold November. The mist comes crawling down the street to the corner where the kids all meet, with fingers stiff and frozen feet, to welcome cold November, to welcome cold November. And underneath the pale gaslight, we sang our song into the night, all down each alley, sharp and bright, for to echo through November, to echo through November. Come rain or fog, you could be sure, if you be rich or be you poor, there'd come a knock upon your door. It's only cold November. It's only cold November. For you never ask the reason why you spared a penny for the guy, or Roman candles in the sky to light up cold November, to light up cold November. And poor Guy Fawkes must burn again. 'Tis pity that he died in vain, for I should like to do the same, to celebrate November, to celebrate November. But your father's standing at the gate, and your mother's in a right old state. Son, don't you know it's far too late for to wander through November, to wander through November. Well, now I'm old and past me prime, out of season, out of rhyme, and the kids today, and they can't find the time to welcome cold November, to welcome cold November.
You're all muted. Sorry, Jenna is on mute.
Okay, thank you very much, David. And yeah, it's going to be a particularly interesting November here in for those of us who are in England anyway, starting on the 5th of November, on Guy Fawkes Night, confined to our homes again. So, James, Eagle, you are next, and then after James, it'll be Riggy.
Super. Am I on? My mic's been playing up.
Yeah, I can hear you
Great,
fine.
cool. Nothing topical about this. It's just a song I like a lot. My granddad was a chemical worker on Teesside. A process man am I, and I'm telling you no lie. I work and breathe among the fumes that trail across the sky. There's thunder all around me and a poison in the air. There's a lousy smell that smacks of hell and there's dust all in me hair. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death, but you go. I've worked among the spinners, I've breathed in the oily smoke. I've shovelled up the gypsum and it nigh on makes you choke. I've stood knee deep in cyanide, I've been sick with a caustic burn. I've been working rough and seen enough to make your stomach turn. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death, but you go. There's overtime and bonus opportunities galore. The young lads like the money, aye, they all come back for more. But soon you're knocking on and you look older than you should. For every bob made in this job you'll pay with flesh and blood. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death, but you go. A process man am I, and I'm telling you no lie. I work and breathe among the fumes that trail across the sky. There's thunder all around me and a poison in the air. There's a lousy smell that smacks of hell and there's dust all in me hair. And it's go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death. But you go, boys, go. They'll time your every breath. And every day you're in this place, you're 2 days nearer death, but you go, but you go.
Great.
Yeah. Ain't it the truth, though?
Yeah, go, James. Brilliant stuff. Okay, Riggy's next, and then I think we're having the first woman performer of the evening in the form of Maggie, and I assume Pete as well. Over to you, Riggy.
Other London folk clubs I attend, everybody they're really adamant about going boy girl, bro. So it's like grammar school. Here's a song that is America's favorite English folk song. So please forgive me. I will try not to use an English accent. See if you can catch the relevance. These words were composed by Spencer the Rover, who travelled Great Britain and most parts of Wales. He had been so reduced, which caused great confusion, and that was the reason he went on the road. On the 5th, Rich, you threw me off there. In Yorkshire near Rotherham, he had been on his rambles. Being weary of travelling, he sat down to rest. At the foot of yonder mountain, there runs a clear fountain with bread and fresh water he himself did refresh. And it tasted more sweet than the gold he had wasted, and sweeter than honey, and gave more content. But the thoughts of his babies lamenting their father brought tears to his eyes and made him lament. But the night fast approaching, to the woods he resorted, with woodbine and ivy his bed for to make. There he dreamt about sighing, lamenting and crying. Go home to your family and rambling forsake. On the 5th day of November, that's my reason to remember, when first he arrived home to his family and wife. They stood so surprised when first he arrived, to behold such a stranger once more in their sight. And his children gathered round him with their prittle-prattling stories, to drive care away. Though they are united like birds of one feather, like bees in one hive, contented they'll stay. So now he is living in his cottage so contented, with woodbine and roses growing all around the door. He's as happy as those that have thousands of riches. Contented he'll stay and go rambling no more. Thank you, the cop.
Done. Done.
Oh, you know, there's a Yiddish parody of that, Riggy.
Great, thank you. We're having quite a few choruses already this evening. Last week we had virtually no choruses, I think. It was all ballads, but either way it's great. Okay, it's over to Maggie and Pete next, and after Maggie and Pete, one from Alison, please.
Ooh, that'll be 2 women in a row because Pete's not got one tonight. And I've been punishing this poor little uke all day, but I think I'll chicken out and just try and use it for pitch. There is a chorus. A mother once she had a lovely daughter. The mother was an actress on the stage. She traveled with a troop of well-trained lions, and each night she went into the lion's cage. The daughter, she had a premonition that everything that night would not go right. That day she told her mother in the kitchen, please don't go into the lion's cage tonight. Don't go in the cage tonight, Mama darling. The lions are ferocious and may bite. When they get their angry fits, they may tear you all to bits. So don't go in the lion's cage tonight. The mother heeded not her daughter's warning, but to her turned and softly said, pooh-pooh. I think I ought to know what I am doing. When I'm around, the lions all feel blue. But that night when she was dancing in the lion's cage, the lions thought that they would like to eat. And as they bit the darling mother's head off, these words came back to her so pure and sweet. Don't go in the cage tonight, Mama darling. The lions look ferocious and may bite. And when they get their angry fits, they may tear you all to bits. So don't go in the lion's cage tonight. Where's you? Don't go in the cage tonight, Mama darling. The lions look ferocious and may bite. And when they get their angry fits, they might tear you all to bits. So don't go in the lion's cage tonight.
Brilliant.
Who wrote it?
Fabulous song.
John Gilroy and Edward Ray Goetz in 1906. People who processed a happy ending, which I kind of liked, but I thought I'd better announce.
Oh no, shame.
Lovely stuff, Maggie. Hopefully we'll hear Pete again soon as well. But meanwhile, it's over to Alison. And Alison, after Alison, one from John White, please.
Thank you. I'm just going to say that this is going to be my last shots for a while because I'm actually having a new hip tomorrow, which I've been waiting for a while. So
Good luck.
I'll be glad to have that done. So when I next see you, hopefully I'll be able to walk properly again. So I'm going to sing a song that is relevant to this time of year. I'm not quite sure when it falls, but around Martinmas. I think it's the beginning of November or mid-November sometime. So this is Martinmas time, and it's got a sort of intermittent chorus which repeats. So please join in your... Oh, by the way, all the drinks are on me tonight as it's my birthday too. So here we go. It fell upon the Martinmas time when the snow lay on the border. There came a troop of soldiers here just to take up their winter quarters. They rode up and they rode down and they rode over the borders, and there they met with a fair pretty maid, oh, and she was a farmer's daughter. They made her swear a solemn oath with a salt tear in her eye, oh, that she would call at their quarter gates when no one did her spy, oh. To me right fold a light a lead and light and laddie oh, right fold light and lead and larry, right fold light and lead and light and laddie oh, right fold light and lead and larry. So she goes to the barber shop, when soon, oh, she's made him cut her fine yellow hair as short as any dragoon, oh. Then she goes to the tailor shop and dresses in soldier's clothes, oh, a pair of pistols down by her side and a nice little boy was she, oh. To me right fold and light and need and light and laddie, oh, right fold light and need and larry, right fold light and need and light and laddie, oh, right fold light and need and larry. When she goes to the quarter gates, it's loudly she did call, oh, there comes a troop of soldiers here, and we must have lodgings all, oh. The quartermaster, he comes out, he gives her half a crown, oh. Go and find lodgings for yourself, for here there is no room, oh. But she drew nearer to the gates, and louder she did call, oh, room, room, you gentlemen, oh, we must have lodgings all, oh. The quartermaster, he comes out, he gives her 18 pence, oh, go and find lodgings in the town, for tonight there comes a wench, oh. To me right full light need and light laddie oh, right full light need and Larry, right full light need and light Larry oh, right full light need and Larry. She's pulled the garters from her legs, the ribbons from her hair oh, she's tied them round the quarter gates as a token she's been there oh. She drew a whistle from her side and blew it loud and shrill, oh. You're all very free with your 18 pence, but you're not for a girl at all, oh. And when they knew that it was her, they tried to have her taken. But she's clapped her spurs to her horse's side, and she's galloped home a maiden. To me rightful like needin' laddie-o, rightful like needin' Larry. Rightful like needin' laddie-o, rightful like needin' Larry. Rightful like needin' laddie-o, rightful like needin' Larry. Thank you.
Nice one.
Nicely done, Alison, and yeah, very hip. Aha, do you see what I did there? Anyway, since it is Alison's birthday, we've come to the exciting moment where we for once all sing together, because it doesn't matter if you murder Happy Birthday, because it's murdered across the globe, thousands of times a day. So please all unmute yourselves and we will sing Happy Birthday to Alison and make a horrible noise, but a joyful one.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Alison. Happy birthday to you.
Terrific.
That was surprisingly harmonious.
I think it's getting better. It's not as bad as I've heard before.
We're just getting used to the cacophony.
Yeah, maybe it's that.
The most
maybe
amazing thing is the guy
We
who
were
wrote
actually-
it just
sorry.
died. He just died. The guy who wrote it just died.
Oh.
So imagine all the royalties he could have gotten over the years.
Who wrote it?
You sure it was a man who wrote Happy Birthday?
Actually, I think you're right. I think it was a woman who wrote
it. Two sisters.
It was two sisters.
Yes, right.
Thank you for knowing that. Thank you.
And their brother died.
Lots of songs about two sisters.
Know that. Okay, moving on.
They've made a bundle over the.
Isn't it
If
just
it
the
was-
right length?
Moving on. Yeah, thank you for that. Alison, have a great birthday. John White's our next singer, and after John, one from Donnelly.
Okay. Many visitors to London, when they go to Trafalgar Square, are very astounded to see a guy stretched out flat on the cold paving stones. And when they look a bit closer, he's drawing beautiful pictures. And of course, this has been going on for a long time, at least 140 years. This song is from Victorian times, and it's all about the pavement artist. Underneath a railway arch, not very far away, I knows a pavement artist who draws pictures every day. With little bits of coloured chalk, he draws his ideas out. They look so real, you fancy you could see 'em move about. His faces are so lifelike, you could fancy they could talk. It's only when he rubs them out, you see they're only chalk, and it's all done on the pavement out of doors. It's a natural gift of his, it's my belief. If he draws somebody's phiz, you can still tell who it is by the writing, what he's written underneath. To watch him draw, the school kids very often ops the wag, while the postman quite forget all the letters in his bag. The policeman, what is standing at the corner of the street, neglects to do his duty and forgets he's on his beat. He never draws the same thing twice. He varies his display, and the ones he'll draw tomorrow will be different from today. And it's all done on the pavement out of doors. It's a natural gift of his, it's my belief. If he draws a king or shah, you can still tell who they are by the writing what is written underneath. Yes, if he draws a king or shah, you can still tell who they are by the writing what is written underneath. That's it.
Wonderful.
Yeah, lovely, John.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Charming. Wow.
Lovely, John. Thank you. Okay, Racker Donnelly is next, and then one from Chris Lamb. Are you there, Racker? Where are you, Racker? Can't hear you, can't see you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, can hear you now.
Oh, good. When you can't see me, you're in bliss. Anyway, this is, can anybody else see me?
Yeah.
Alison, can you see me? No, it's okay. It's okay. Anyway, it's called A Rack of Lamb, and it's a radio program I wrote for Irish National Radio about 15 years ago. And I had a very tyrannical producer, and he told me that all the programs I did had the word rack in the title, me being the racker. And he said it was to be the rack of lamb, and I didn't know what that was. And apparently it's the rib cage of a dead sheep, and it's delicious. And a couple of things I should explain. This is about sheep, alive and dead. And a couple of terms I should explain. Sweet Afton is, I hope I'm right in this, Amanda, a river in Scotland. Afton, I think, Sweet Afton. Afton is an old word meaning a river, actually. But in Ireland, it was a cigarette. So you'd need to know that. And the other thing is there are a mention of 3 spices or herbs when sheep are being cooked. And one is cardamom, one is cumin, and the other is rosemary. And they're referred to in the piece. Anyway, that's enough about that. Here we are, about sheep. Sheep are held cheap. Mutton is nuttin', not worth a damn unless it's dressed as a lamb. Sheep would make you weep, ashamed of being a mammal, shorn or unshaven, they're craven. I'd prefer a camel. When rampant ram meets madame, it's wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But if yous were stuck with a lack of ram, you'd never see a rack of lamb. Yous, so nice, branded for luring shepherds into vice, like Mataharis in matted saris, pulling the wool, fluttering sheep's eyes, cloven-footed Eves in fluffy guise. To resist such charm, their master, poor pastor, would have to be made of ice or glass or alabaster. A cross between a sheep and a goat isn't a geep. It's called a showet. Likewise, a cross between poet and joker isn't a jowet. So I must be a poker, but I'm also a dogmatical non-smoker. Even so, Sweet Afton before sheep shafton is my choice. I leave gags about sheep shagging to James Joyce. Some eat lamb with nectarines, some fry it, some marinade, some sheesh, some butterfly it, some scoff the offal, some Saratoga roll it, some, if they have the neck, ragout or casserole it. For some hot pot'll hit the spot, but most cry roast. A leg, crinkly skin and pink within, minty, musky, cardamom, cumin, rosemary, grab a dish and savor that delicious flavor. This is where it's at. But better still, creme de la creme, heart of the meal, royal rack of lamb, cross cutlasses, the juiciest of joints, wavy with gravy for extra brownie points. Uncap the prongs, let banqueting commence. Enough of rhyme, my belly's in suspense, it's dinner time. I'm feeling pinnish, and I am racked with desire to attack and finish this rack of lamb. Apologies to vegetarians.
Well done, Fantastic. Amazing. Very nice.
Really.
Trying to unmute unsuccessfully. Great stuff, Racker. Thank you. And who better to follow that than Chris Lamb himself? Followed by John Breeze.
Yes, I wasn't very happy about Racker's song. I thought it might have been Racker's recital. I thought it might have been aimed at me, but anyway. Also, I realised that it was Martinmas next week, and so I had a song prepared for that, but Alison has beaten me to it. So here's another song with the same first line as Martinmas time. It's a Scottish version of John Blunt, but this is anglicised. It fell about the Martinmas time, and a fine time it was then, oh, that our good wife had puddings to make, and she boiled them in a pan, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. The wind it blew from east to west, and it blew upon the floor, oh. Said our good man to our good wife, get up and bar the door, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. My hand is in my knitting bag, good man, as you may see, oh. Though it shouldn't be barred for 7 years, it'll not be barred by me, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. They made a pact between themselves and fixed it firm and sure, oh, that the one who spoke the very first word should rise and bar the door, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. 2 gentlemen had lost their way at 12 o'clock at night, oh, and they could find neither house nor hall, nor coal nor candlelight, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. Now, whether is this a rich man's house, or whether is it a poor, oh, but never a word would either speak for the barring of the door, oh, and the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. Well, first they ate the white pudding, and then they ate the black, oh, and our good man says to himself, the devil go down with that, oh, and the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. The young man to the old man said, here, man, take you my knife, oh, and go and shave the good man's beard, and I'll kiss the good wife, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. There is no water in the house, and what'll we do then, oh? Well, just use the pudding juice that's boiling in the pan, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. Then out and spoke the old good man, and an angry man was he, oh. Would you kiss my wife before my eyes, and scald me with pudding juice, oh? And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well. Then up and jumped the old good wife, gave 3 skips on the floor, oh. Good man, you spoke the very first word, get up and bar the door, oh. And the barring of our door, well, 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 and the barring of our door, well.
Oh, hey.
Nicely done, Chris. Okay, it's John Breeze next. John, I don't remember you being here before. Maybe you have, but it's good to see you in any case. I'm looking forward to hearing you perform. After John, a song from David Jones, please.
I've to admit, I thought Tom was singing. Okay. Right. Well, good evening, everybody. Nice to be back. A lot of messages flicking on my screen. It's like there's, too many. They're quite a distraction, actually. So I hope I don't get put off, and I hope actually people will refrain probably from making so many messages to everyone. If you want to make a message to somebody private, that's fine. Okay. Right. This song is written by Trevor Carter. Anyone heard of Trevor Carter? Just shake your heads. No, not. Yeah, okay. Trevor now lives in France. Anyway, I pinched this from Pete Coe. I asked him if he sang it. He said no, and I asked him why not, and he gave a very good reasons. And I thought, okay. Anyway, it's called the PR Man from Hell. Nothing to do with Halloween. Right, here we go. Just a little bit of an A, just to see how it goes. Now there was a rich man in the far north of England who made all his money, as I ever tell, by providing the water for folks in the region he made by collecting the rain as it fell. And he kept it in reservoirs, tanks and contraptions, and purification plants costly and rare, and a network of pipes that were rusty and leaking, 'cause he wouldn't pay for the cost of repair. But the sun made a rare, unaccustomed appearance. The weather was warm, not a cloud in the sky, and the rivers and lakes turned to desolate mud flats. The pipes and the taps in the houses ran dry. But it didn't much matter. It was a monopoly, meaning, of course, it were all his to sell. And if water ran out, well, he still got his wages, his perks and his car, and share options as well. It was a nice little earner, no matter how low was the level of water. His income stayed high, with his wealth never ceasing and always increasing. He surely had everything money could buy. Set one thing he craved for as much as these baubles. To him it would be the great jewel in the crown. He wanted the people to love him. Instead, he was the most unpopular man in the town. Part 2. Well, one night he is driving back home from his office in his black BMW, cozy and warm. He is using a phone whilst manoeuvring a roundabout, sees this strange figure and leans on the horn. And the face of this figure stares back through the windscreen. There's a swirling grey mist and a strange sulphurous smell. And the voice echoes up through the phone and the hi-fi. It's me that you need, the PR man from hell. Then the scene quickly changes, the roundabout fades, and he's in some strange office of glass, steel and brick. And this figure sits there with two horns and red braces, the senior partner with Saatchi and Nick. Well, he shakes his hand firmly. So you're the new client. Let's start straight away without fear and restraint. You are such a smug bastard, but I like a challenge. By the time I am finished, they'll think you a saint. For I worked with Joe Stalin, Mussolini, the Borgias. In their time they were loved just as you wish to be. Then think about Thatcher and Blair and Cameron. They all won elections, and that's down to me. Robin Hood called me up with an eye to posterity, cleaned up his act. Florence Nightingale too, well known as a stripper, till I changed her image. Now history records a more favourable view. My portfolio's broad. I've had film stars and tyrants. Old Adolf himself in that very chair sat. And no one's too bad or too smug for my talents. Except one, Boris Johnson. I've turned him down flat. I can make them all love you. The press will go crazy. Use words unaccustomed like honest and nice. And it won't cost a penny of your hard-won riches. For money is never a part of me price. Send the water executive, tell me your terms. For such popularity I would pay dear, and so long as no money's involved in the bargain, whatever you ask for, I've nothing to fear. So by way of reply, the devil takes out this thick pile of press cuttings laid on the floor, shakes his head like a plumber and sucks through his teeth. By Christ, they don't make lives like yours anymore. Now the price will be heavy. We'll start with your soul, if you've got one to give, though it seems a slim chance. And on top of this, grant me the souls of your children, your wife and your mother, your cousins and aunts. And of course there must be some eternal damnation for someone your wife or your children will do. I've devised this new line in perpetual suffering, an ingenious scheme to remind them of you. For they'll spend all their days in an endless dry desert where the sun stares remorselessly down from the sky, and they'll never find water but spend all their days between sleeping and waking and hoping to die. And I'll keep them a hair's breadth away from mortality, just on the edge of an ending despair. And they'll drag their dry bones across burning hot sands in this orgy of suffering no mortal can bear. So that's the deal, said the devil. Just give your assent. For such popularity no one can match. The executive frowns and he says, I don't like it. It all seems so easy. There must be a catch.
Well, I hope you haven't been offering your services to Donald Trump. Anyway, thank you, John, for that. And David Jones is our next singer. And after David, it will be Rich Galloway, please.
Okay, the song I'm going to sing is called The Jamestown Homeward Bound. And Jamestown was a ship. She was a warship, but she never fired a shot in anger. But there is record of her sailing to Ireland to take supplies during the time of the Great Famine. And Jamestown was, of course, the first settlement in America before Plymouth. The farmer's heart with joy is filled when his crops are good and sound. But who can feel the wild delight of a sailor homeward bound? For 3 long years have passed away since we left old Freedom's shore, and a long-felt wish has come at last, and we're homeward bound once more, to where the sky is clear as a maiden's eye who longs for our return, to the land where milk and honey flows and liberty was born. So fill our sails with the favouring gale, and with shipmates all around. And we'll give 3 cheers for the starry flag and the Jamestown homeward bound. And the Jamestown homeward bound. And now we are arrived in port, and stripping's our last job. And friendly faces look around in search of Bill or Bob. They say that we are safe at last from the perils of the sea. saying, welcome Columbia's mariners to your homes and liberty, to your homes and liberty. So fill our sails with the favouring gale, and with shipmates all around. And we'll give 3 cheers for the starry flag and the Jamestown homeward bound. And the Jamestown homeward bound.
Good.
Well,
Used to sing that with a group that I sang with known as the Bermuda Quadrangle.
Right. I heard you sing it with them.
It was
I
Jeff
remember that
Davis.
group.
Jeff Davis used to sing it. Yeah.
Lovely stuff, David. I like the name of the band. Okay, Rich Galloway is next, and then we shall have one from Tara.
All right, well, I'll stay on the maritime theme for a bit here. I've done my share of carving, figureheads of great design, for the olives and the ruddocks and the famous blackball line, brigantines and barks and clippers, brigs and schooners, lithe and tall. But the bounding Marco Polo was the flower of them all. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. I can see that white-winged clipper reeling under scudding clouds, tramping down a hazy skyline with a norther in her shrouds. I can feel her lines of beauty, see her flecked with spume and brine, as she drives her scuppers under, and that figurehead of mine. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. 'Twas of seasoned pine I made it clear from outer bark to core, from the finest piece of timber, from the mast pond on straight shore. Every bite of axe or chisel, every ringing mallet welt, wrought from out that block of timber all the spirit that I felt. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. I had read of Marco Polo till his daring deeds were mine, and I say them all a-glowing in that balsam-scented pine. Saw his eyes alight with purpose facing every vagrant breeze, saw him lilting free and careless over all the 7 seas. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. That's how I did my carving, beat of heart to stroke of hand, putting into life and action all the purpose that I planned. Flowing robes and wind-tossed dresses, forms of beauty, strength, design, I saw them all and tried to carve them in that figurehead of mine. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. And when my hands are feeble, and my outward eyes grow dim, I will see again those clippers reeling o'er the ocean's rim. Great white fleet of sailing rovers, wind above and surf beneath, with a Marco Polo leading and my carving in her teeth. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood. While my hands are steady, while my eyes are good, I will carve the music of the wind into the wood.
Great job. Really good.
Lots of people are saying in the chat that that's their favourite song. It's one of my favourite songs as well. Thanks for bringing that, Rich. Looks very crowded where you are. Not sure, not convinced social distancing is happening there in any meaningful form. Anyway, okay, Tara is our next singer, and after Tara, one from Simon Prager, please.
So I'm going to do a nautical themed one as well. It's not exactly nautical themed, it's a broadside ballad, and I think I got it from hearing Frankie Armstrong sing it ages ago. So, The Victory. I am a youthful lady, my sorrows they are great. My tongue is scarcely able my grievance to relate.
Hello.
Since I have lost my true love, who was so dear to me, he's gone to plough the ocean on board the Victory. Many's the pleasant evening my love and I did meet. He clasped me round the tender waist and gave me kisses sweet. I gave to him my hand and heart. He vowed he'd marry me, but I didn't know my love would go on board the Victory. My parents could not endure my love because he was so poor, and therefore he would not presume to come within the door. But had he been some noble lord or man of high degree, they'd never have sent the lad I love on board the Victory. 14 of the press gang did my love surround, and 4 of the accursed crew lay bleeding on the ground. My love was overpowered, though he fought most manfully, till he was obliged to yield and go on board the Victory. Here's a health unto the Victory and crew of noble fame, and likewise to their gallant lord, bold Nelson was his name. At the Battle of Trafalgar, the Victory cleared the way, and my love was slain with Nelson all on that very day. Thank you.
Lovely job.
Oh, good.
Yeah, just keep it up, turn it upside down.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, great to hear, and a good story. Simon, no doubt, will have something very different from that, I suspect.
Sure enough.
And after Simon, one from Jan Ayres, please.
Do you like the background? That's my wife. My wife said that my room looked too cluttered for Zoom, so I went out and bought a screen, and now I can show you somebody else's pristine room. And my room is additionally cluttered with the addition of one screen. This is a Blind Lemon Jefferson song. Go home and I ain't got sufficient clothes, doggone my bad luck and soul. Ain't got sufficient clothes, ain't got sufficient. Talk about clothes, now I wanna go home. Ain't got sufficient clothes. I bet my money and I lost it. Lord, it's gone, doggone my bad luck and soul. Lost it, Lord, it's gone. I lost it, Lord, it's talk about gone. Now I ain't gonna bet little cleaner slates no more. Mama, I can't gamble. Son, why don't you quit crying? Doggone my bad luck and soul. Son, why don't you quit crying? Son, why don't you quit talk about crying? Now that joker stole off with a long-haired gal. Take the Katie, I take the Santa Fe, doggone my bad luck and soul. You take the Santa Fe, you take the Santa, talk about fee. Now when you get into Denver, honey, look around for me. Won't you tell her to hurry home? Doggone my bad luck and soul. Tell her to hurry home. You tell her hurry, talk about home. Now I ain't had no love since that little gal been gone. I wanna go home and I ain't got sufficient clothes. Doggone my bad luck and soul. Ain't got sufficient clothes, ain't got sufficient. Talk about clothes, now I wanna go home. Ain't got sufficient clothes.
Yes. Apologise for Suffet.
Lovely stuff, Simon, as ever. Now one from Jan and then one from Bob Wakeling, please.
Last Saturday was Samhain, which meant that November the 1st was a Wiccan New Year. So this is New Year's Eve by Cy Khan. I've seen you tossing restless between midnight and day, paying back the debts of many years, or staring out the window till the mist has burnt away, and waiting for the sun to dry your tears. I've seen you young, I've seen you old, I've seen you lost and found, I've seen you sit and cry without a sound. I've seen you in the lamplight, the dark lines on your face, the shadows of your fears upon the wall. But crying is no weakness, and to lose is no disgrace. You see, we're not so different after all. But can't you tell by the ringing bell, the old year's moving on? I'd like to say one thing before it's gone. May whatever house you live in have flowers by the door, and children in the bed to keep you warm. May the people there accept you for who you really are, and help you find some shelter in the storm, and morning rain to ease the pain that comes with being free. May the new year bring you freedom peacefully. Thank you.
Lovely sentiments in that song, Jan. Thank you. So, Bob Wakeling, it's time for you to strut your stuff, and after you, it will be Liz Phillipson.
Every time I come here, I keep changing my mind what I'm going to sing at the last moment. This is from Leon Rosserson. This is William. There are all sorts of reasons why people go to war and reasons why they don't. It's called William. William was a little boy, he was his parents' pride and joy. They loved him so as only parents can. Taught him to do, marvellous. I'll start again. William was a little boy, oh, his parents' pride and joy. They loved him so as only parents can. Taught him to be brave and strong, taught him to know right from wrong, so he wrote to be a fine man. William was as good as gold, always did what he was told. Though he was a child, he understood. Learned the big boys never cried, learned the good boys never lied, tried to do the best that he could. So William tried his best to be a credit to the family, tried to drive away his shameful fears. Sometimes when the lights grew dim, dreams and shadows frightened him, and in his mother's arms he'd hide his fears. His father took the boy aside, said, son, there's nowhere you can hide. You won't win life's battles if you run. So face your fears and stand and fight. Dreams and shadows cannot bide, and I won't have a coward for a son. Now Will's a Now Will's a man, Pa tells his wife, this boy must find his path in life. An actor, William said, I'd like to be. His pa said grimly he could do anything he wanted to. We'll love you still, said Ma reproachfully. When he saw the grief he caused, William stopped and William paused. Couldn't hurt them all after all they've done. So with everyone's consent, William joined the regiment. See him there with the uniform and gun. In distant lands the final act begins and Will's patrols attack. The cannons roar and terror chills the bone. Outnumbered 10 to 1, all the soldiers turn to run, all except for William turned to stone. Felt his old familiar fears, saw his mother's grief and tears, saw his father overcome with shame. Remembering what he'd been taught, William stopped and William fought, died to save the family name. So William for his gallantry received a posthumous VC. Ma and Pa were overcome with pride. So we'll leave them there alone, regard these words on Will's headstone. William lived for love he died. When William was a little boy, he was his parents' pride and joy. They loved him so as only parents can. Taught him to be brave and strong, taught him to know right from wrong, so he broke to be a fine man.
It's just how
Very poignant with Armistice Day coming up, and what a great way to end the song. Just that discord or whatever you call it, some musical term. Okay, Liz Phillipson is our next singer, and after Liz, it will be Dave Mason to close the first half. Over to you, Liz.
Hi. I'm going to do a song that was published in the South Shields Gazette in the 1890s by Mr. Aaron Watson. Way, there's mackerel in the bay, me lads, there's mackerel in the bay. Get out your boats and hoist your sails, and let us haste away. There's bread upon the waters, lads, food for wen and wife. There's mackerel in the bay, me lads, and one more grip of life. The heron's gone for good, me lads, were ploughed the sea's lang syne. Whenever on a moonlit night we saw the silvery shine, we rushed towards the cobles, lads, when heron came our way. But heron's gone for good, me lads, but mackerel's in the bay. We trimmed the salmon nets, me lads, and darned and wove and spun. Whenever in the summer months there seemed a goodly run. But salmon don't come near one now until the season's past. But mackerel's in the bay, me lads, let's make another cast. The whitefish were a joy, me lads, whenever winter came. We'll hold them in our hand, and then made off for yam. But now they've got the trawlers, lads, and cobbles is laid by. But mackerel's in the bay, me lads, let's have another try. The fisher's life is hard, me lads, between the wind and sea. But what would choose the fisher's life, Jack, John, ye and me? The fish that were living, lads, are driven far away. But mackerel's in the bay, me lads, yes, mackerel's in the bay. There's bread upon the waters, lads, food for wen and wife. There's mackerel in the bay, me lads, and one more grip of life. Aaron Watson.
Sounds like something I would do.
What on earth was that noise? Sounded like there's a werewolf. It's a week late, but never mind. Okay, so thank you, Liz. What better fish than the mackerel? I don't know. And Dave Mason will close the first half, and then we'll have parish notices, and then a break, and then we'll do it all again. So over to you, Dave.
Thanks, Amanda. So I was actually in a folk club. I do a folk club on a Monday now, up in Hottenley Spring, which is up near Gateshead and Durham. So it's called the Dun Cow. So if any of you are interested, they have a fantastic folk club on a Monday. Anyway, I'm going to stay on the armistice theme. and this is a song I wrote back in 1987. Soldier boy, why did you go when battle's bugle called you? If you'd stayed, you would have paid far less than what they made you. You went away one fine day, a young man to be proud of, to country far and to a war in places never heard of. Soldier boy, why did you go off to those distant borders? You try survive, just stay alive, obeying someone's orders. And for that land you made a stand, knowing in your conscience that one more life, one more sacrifice would make no earthly difference. It's nothing new, we've always been this way before. We give them all we have, then we send them off to war. Words like love and peace weigh heavy on my mind, but in reality, we've left them far behind. Soldier boy, why did you die? They say you're not returning. My eyes are red from the tears I've shed. My heart is sore from yearning. Although you're gone, this world goes on, and it's not getting better. We hurt, we lie, we crucify like hell's infernal debtor. Soldier boy, your smile is gone, your memory still lingers. I often find you on my mind, or just slipping through my fingers. And maybe when we meet again in some eternal glory, then I'll know why you had to go and the reason for this story. It's nothing new, we've always played this game before. We give them all we have, then we send them off to war. Words like love and peace weigh heavy on my mind, but in reality, we've left them far behind. Soldier boy, I miss you so, I miss your joy, your laughter. They try to get me to forget the memories I run after. I often wish I could forget, confuse you for another. Though life is cheap, the hurt runs deep, and I'll always miss you, brother. Here we go, Soldier Boy.
I was watching everybody watching that. Everyone was absolutely rapt. What a fantastic song. Yeah, says it all really. So thank you for that, David. It is now time for me to pause the recording. And we're off in the second half. So Pal, it's going to be you and then followed by a song from Martin Ryan, please.
Okay. I always feel a bit sorry for the young man who gets ordered to go and fight for his king, and then his girlfriend accuses him of betrayal for leaving her. Seems a bit unfair. Anyway, this song is about that. Our captain cried, "All hands away tomorrow," leaving us girls behind in grief and sorrow. Why must you go away, fighting for strangers, when you could stay at home and free from danger? I'll roll you in my arms, my dearest jewel. So stay at home with me and don't be cruel. She fell upon the floor like one who was dying. This house was filled with grief, sighing and crying. You courted me a while just to deceive me. Now that you've gained my heart, you mean to leave me. There is no trusting man, nor my own brother. So girls, if you must love, love only each other. The drums are beating loud, the pipes are playing. I must be on my way, no longer stay. Dry off those brandy tears and leave from weeping, and happy we shall be at our next meeting.
Well done, pal.
Hey, pal. Hey. Hey.
Oh, beautiful.
Fabulous.
Another lovely one, pal. Okay, so Martin Ryan is next, and after Martin, one from David Diamond, please. Can't
Can
hear
you hear me
Martin?
now? There
Yeah.
we are. Tom Crean was a Kerry man who, at the back end of the 19th century, ran away to sea as a teenager to get away from a tyrannical father. And given that Tom survived for many years in the Royal Navy, the father must have been a rough character. This is an account of some of Tom's adventures. It's of an unsung hero, that's I'm going for to tell you now. A native son of Ireland, and if time will me allow, of a noble-hearted Kerry man, the truth I will recall. I will sing his name, his deeds proclaim, Tom Crean of Elmscall. In 1877, a farmer's son he first saw light, and when he was young, the Gaelic tongue he spoke with great delight. He was one of 10 in that mountain glen, when the sea's loud roar did call. Carefree and brave on the ocean wave, went Crean of Elmscall. On board the Ringarooma for New Zealand he set sail, as an able-bodied seaman in the teeth of wind and gale. He was soon on board Discovery, and with Captain Scott installed, on the high seas to Antarctica, went cream around the skull. For 3 long years in that frozen waste, for 3 long years in that frozen waste, he's led me home, until at last he sailed back home on shore leave, well deserved. In 1910, he was back again once more for to give his all, and his burning goal was to reach the pole, some cream around the skull. On that fatal final journey, Captain Scotty said, turn back. So with Lashley and with Evans Bowl, Tom headed for the shank. It broke his heart for to depart, and down the tears did fall. And his captain he would ne'er more see, some cream around the skull. As they struggled back to Hut Point, sure, the wind cut to the bone. Evans ill lay sick and still, while Tom marched on alone. For 40 miles through the ice and snow, he stumbled and he crawled. For to save his brave companions, did Tom cream around the skull. And he made an epic voyage all in an open boat, with Worsley and with Shackleton, sure 'twas God kept them afloat. 800 miles on the ocean wide before they made landfall, and then back to rescue 40 men, went cream around the skull. Too late we give him honour and we celebrate his fame, and a mountain and a glacier will forever bear his name. In a tomb in Ballinaccorty, he awaits the final call. From his long sleep in the Kerry Hills, Tom cream upon the skull. Shinna will.
Yeah, but that wasn't Royal Maiden.
Never heard that one before.
That's a nice one, Martin. Thank you for bringing that. And good to hear you.
You are most welcome.
So David Diamond is our next singer, and he'll be followed by Jean and Phil Revenell. Could I just remind people to please put the name of their song and whoever it's by in the chat, if you can. If you can't use the chat, don't worry about it, but I know most people can, so please do. Okay, it's over to David.
Okay, hello. That's the Heaven's Gate behind me. I'm sorry to disappoint, I'm going to do a recitation, which I suddenly remembered I had hanging around here. And it's sort of apposite to today, at least as far as being in America is concerned, which most of you aren't, and you lucky people. It's called Judgment Day. It happened on a Tuesday. There came the judgment dawn. St. Peter came in early, and Gabriel blew his horn. St. Peter never stopped for lunch, and he had to work quite late. He sorted out the sinners, sent the blessed through the gate, and when he'd done, and come on, Gabe, let's go and get some grub, and sink a heavenly pint or two down at the Angel pub. There's some folk left, says Gabriel, a bunch we haven't done. You know we can't just knock off work until we've sorted every one. So Peter puts his glasses on and takes another look, then opens up his desk again and checks them in his book. This lot won't get to heaven, nor hear the angels sing. They all deserve to go to hell. I'll give old Nick a ring. The angel at the switchboard quickly puts St. Peter through. Hello, Nick, don't close up yet. I've customers for you. Who is it this time? Grumbles Nick. We've no room for any more. What with murderers and rapists and blokes declaring war. What did these do, says Satan. I'd really like to know. Can't they be forgiven? says St. Peter firmly, no. Then Peter, he told Satan what this scruffy lot had done. And Satan swore a mighty oath he'd not take a single one. I have me limits, Pete, he said, and this lot crossed the line. There's no place hot enough for them in any hell of mine. Pete calls the boss, but he just laughed, which wasn't any use. Just lock 'em up, was all he said. Can't have 'em running loose. Now here's a problem, Peter says. The angels, it would stump. What do you do with people who would vote for Donald Trump?
Bravo!
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, bloody hell, yeah, of course.
Loving the new image, David. It suits you very well. Yeah, well, let's hope not too many vote for Donald Trump, but we'll have to see. Okay, Jean and Phil are next, and after them, I'll do a song after them.
Right. Last week, John White was reminiscing about Jim Lloyd's Folk Day at Croydon, which was about 40 years ago. Now, at that time, the two of the residents at Croydon were Sue and Grant Rule, and they went on to found a folk festival in Mark Beach called Pig's Ear Folk Festival, which should have occurred in May, but of course didn't. This is one of Sue's songs, and she's given us permission to alter the last verse so that we could come in with a reminiscence and a reference to fireworks.
Outside my bedroom window, when I was just a lass, was a grey suburban road where the cars and buses passed. We couldn't play out in the street, it was busy even then, but across the road Ashburton Park gave us all a bit of green. And I used to dream of waking up with the countryside outside, and once a year in summer Ashburton Park and Clyde, you could hear the bleating of the sheep and the cattle calling low when the country came to town at Ashburton Summer Show. For days before the show at my window I would wait while cattle trucks and fairground vans negotiate the gates, till half the park was a show ring and a noisy travelling fair, and the other filled with livestock whose fragrance filled the air. I used to watch them shear the sheep and watch them milk the cows, spent all my cash in the penny arcade, never thinking that I'd lose. And when those shining horses jumped over the coloured bars, to a pony-mad suburban girl they were jumping to the stars. And I used to dream of waking up with the countryside outside, and once a year in summer Ashburton Park and Clyde, you could hear the bleating of the sheep and the cattle calling low when the country came to town at Ashburton Summer Show. Now it's just a summer carnival, a family day out. The only horses on display are on the roundabout. The kids are still excited, their faces all aglow, as fireworks fill the Croydon sky at the closing of the show. And I used to dream of waking up with the countryside outside, and once a year in summer Ashburton Park and Clyde, You could hear the bleating of the sheep and the cattle calling low when the country came to town at Ashburton Summer Show.
Great, well done.
Good song.
Good.
Well done.
Lovely, cheerful song there. Thank you. I'm going to sing now, and Dave Harbord will be after me. I'm about to sing something very much not cheerful. It's a song I thought would almost certainly appear last week because it's a ghostly revenant song, but nobody did it, so I thought it deserved an airing this week. I must be going, no longer staying. The burning Thames I have to cross. I will be guided without a stumble into the arms of my own dear lass. When he's come to his love's bedroom window, he's kneeled down gently on a stone, and through the glass he's whispered softly, "My own dear girl, do you lie alone?" She's raised her head from her down soft pillow, all snowy were her milk-white breasts. Who's there? Who's there at my bedroom window, disturbing me from my long night's rest? Oh, I'm your lover, but don't discover. Pray open up and let me in, for I am tired from my long night's journey. Besides, I'm wet through all to the skin. This young girl's rose and put on her clothing. She's opened up and she's let him in. They've kissed, embraced, and they've lain together till that long night is near an end. Oh, Willie dear, oh, dearest Willie, where's the colour you had some time ago? Oh, Mary dear, the clay has changed me. I am but the ghost of your Willie, oh. Then cock, oh, handsome cockerel, I pray don't crow until the day, and your wings I'll make of the very first beaten gold, and your comb I'll make of the silver grey. But the cock he crew, and he crew so fully, he crew 3 hours before the dawn, and before the day came, my love had to leave me. Not by light of the moon or the light of the sun. Oh, Willie dear, oh, dearest Willie, when will I see you again? When the fishes fly, love, and the seas run dry, love, and the rocks they melt in the heat of the sun. The great
Wonderful. Beautiful.
So thank you very much. It is now over to Dave Harbord, and after Dave, one from Kathy Dent, please.
Yeah, well, this is the time of year when we sort of celebrate the fact that 700,000 mainly young people were killed during the First World War from the UK. In fact, in total, there are about 20 times that killed in the First World War. And so I'm going to sing a song about the First World War. If you want to find the Colonel, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the Colonel, I know where he is. He's pinning another medal on his chest. I saw him pinning another medal on his chest. I saw him pinning another medal on his chest. If you want to find the captain, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the captain, I know where he is. He's home again on weekend leave. I saw him home again on weekend leave. I saw him home again on weekend leave. If you want to find the quartermaster, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the quartermaster, I know where he is. He's drinking up the company's rum. I saw him drinking up the company's rum. I saw him drinking up the company's rum. If you want to find the sergeant, I know where he is. I know where he is. I know where he is. If you want to find the sergeant, I know where he is. He's drunk upon the dugout floor. I saw him drunk upon the dugout floor. I saw him drunk upon the dugout floor. If you want the old battalion, I know where they are. I know where they are. I know where they are. If you want the old battalion, I know where they are. They're hanging on the old barbed wire. I saw them hanging on the old barbed wire. I saw them hanging on the old barbed wire.
Yay.
Good stuff, Dave. Thank you. It's that last verse that always gets you, isn't it? Okay, so Kathy Dent's our next singer, and after Kathy, one from Tom Reed.
Right, just before I sing, I have to give out a very important bit of breaking news. As a response to lots of protests, the government has done a U-turn and pubs will be allowed to sell beer throughout the lockdown as long as it has been ordered online or by phone. So you can get a takeaway from your pub and help keep them open. Right, on to bonfire night. We've come a copper-coaling, copper-coaling, copper-coaling. We've come a copper-coaling for bonfire night. Now the first to come in is a collier, you see, with his pick and his shovel all ready to dig. He digs it and picks it and then it does fall. And that is the way that we get the cop coal. We come a cop coaling, cop coaling, cop coaling. We come a cop coaling for bonfire night. And the next to come in is a sailor you see, with a bunch of blue ribbons tied under his knee. He travelled through England and France and through Spain, and now he's returned to old England again. We come a cop coaling, cop coaling, cop coaling. We come a cop coaling for bonfire night. And the last to come in is a miser. You see, he's a lump on his back and he's blind in one eye. He's a weary old fella and he wears a pigtail, and all his delight is in drinking old ale. We come a cop coaling, cop coaling, cop coaling. We come a cop coaling for bonfire night. Now down in yon cellar there's an old umbrella. There's nought in yon corner but an old pepper pot. Pepper pot, morning till night. If you give us nought, we'll pinch nought. Bid you good night. We come a cop coaling, cop coaling, cop coaling. We come a cop coaling for bonfire night. And down in yon cellar there's plenty of bugs. They've eaten my stockings and part of me clogs. We'll get a sharp knife and we'll cut their heads off, and we'll have a good supper of bugs, yets and broth. We come a cop coaling, cop coaling, cop coaling. We come a cop coaling for bonfire night. Up a ladder and down a wall, tuppence or threepence will please us all. Cop coaling.
You were very seasonal last week, as I remember as well. One for every week of the year. Brilliant. Okay. And good news about the pubs, kind of. Okay. Brilliant. Tom Reid is next, followed by Wendy, please.
Thank you, Amanda. Well, I made this song especially for our Peggy Seeger night a couple of weeks ago. And then I didn't sing it because she was gone by the time my turn came around. So I thought I'd try it out anyway. This is my tribute to Pete Seeger. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Someday there'll be peace. Someday there'll be peace. Someday there'll be peace on down the road. We shall be released. We shall be released. We shall be released on down the road. There will come a time when freedom's light will shine for all humankind on down the road. Can't you hear the drum when all's said and done? We shall overcome on down the road. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand on down the road to that promised land, to that promised land, to that promised land on down the road. When all hope is gone, we'll go marching on, singing a Union song, on down the road. Someday we'll be free, free from slavery, war and tyranny, on down the road. Day by day by day, day by day by day, day by day by day, on down the road. We will find a way, we will find a way, we will find a way, on down the road. Through the darkest night, sorrow put to flight, hope burns ever bright, on down the road. From the seeds we've sown, we will find a home, never more to roam, on down the road. We shall overcome, we shall overcome, we shall overcome someday.
Buying another tea bag. Unless you wanted more. Right, leave it.
That is definitely the kind of song we need at the moment, Tom. Thank you. So Wendy is next, and after Wendy, it's time for Helen to give us a song. But over to you, Wendy, first.
Okay, I'm sorry, this isn't at all uplifting. This is something we can't all of us escape. It's a traditional song. It's called Death and the Lady. As I walked out one day, I met an aged man all on the way. His head was bald, his beard was grey, his clothing made of the cold earth and clay. His clothing made of the cold earth and clay. I said, old man, what man are you? What country did you belong unto? My name is Death, hast heard of me? All kings and princes bow down unto me, and you, fair maid, must come along with me. I'll give you gold, I'll give you pearls, I'll give you costly rich robes to wear, if you will grant me a little while, and give me time my life to lament, and give me time my life to lament. I want no gold, I want no pearls, I want no costly rich robes to wear. I cannot grant you a little while, nor give you time your life to lament, nor give you time your life to lament. In 6 months' time this young girl died, Let this be on my tombstone, she cried. Here lies a poor distracted maid, who in her youth was snatched away, her clothing made of the cold earth and clay.
Blair on the bottom, and I went on the
Well, I know the content wasn't uplifting, Wendy, but it's always uplifting hearing you sing. So
Thank you.
there we have it. So now we have, I believe, a newcomer, Helen. Welcome very, very much, Helen. And looking forward to hearing you sing. After Helen, it's one from Lisa Null. Helen, are you there? You'll need to unmute.
Can you see me?
I can hear you, which is good.
I can see myself and
there
the
we
video.
are. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, you're visible.
So I was looking for a song that was upbeat for today, Election Day, which I learned almost 2 years ago. And as I was practicing it earlier, there was a video online of sung by the woman who wrote it, a songwriter and chorus leader named Melanie DeLong. Melanie DeMore. And she wrote it the day after the election 4 years ago. So if you want to sing with me, I think I should sit down, but I feel like standing. Can you see me? If I keep backing up, can you see my
face? But not your face.
Not my face. Well, that's because the camera is weird. It's gonna fall off. Can you see my face now?
You see some of it? Yeah.
Some of it. Okay. If you want to sing along, you repeat the line that I've just sung. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't give up hope. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes and don't despair. Lift up your eyes. Love happens there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. We'll help each other to sing and dance. If you are scared, just take a chance. Gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared. Well, I'm scared too, but here I am. Right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love.
Thanks, Helen. Good song, easy song to harmonise with as well in the chorus, so that was good. Okay, Lisa's our next singer, and after Lisa, one from Kate Portal, who will be the first of two Kates this evening.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you loud and clear.
Well, this song was almost like a continuation of what Helen just sang. It's an old camp meeting song that seems very appropriate to the times that we're in right now. I don't know. One reason I'm here is I'm about to have a nervous breakdown over the election. And I think most of my friends are feeling the same way, and many of us haven't been able to sleep. And all we can do is hang on and hope. And I've been really buoyed by the support and love and friendship that I've been getting from people over in England who seem, and Ireland also, and Scotland too, all of whom seem to understand what we're going through, perhaps better than we do. Anyway, this is a song, I guess, for all of us. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, I'm climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains trying to get home. Lord, we're having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, we're having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, we're having hard trials, having hard trials, having hard trials trying to get home. Lord, we're bearing our burdens trying to get home. Lord, we're bearing our burdens trying to get home. Lord, we're bearing our burdens, bearing our burdens, bearing our burdens, trying to get home. Every step takes us further, trying to get home. Every step takes us further, trying to get home. Every step takes us further. Steps takes us further. Step takes us further, trying to get home. Lord, we're climbing high mountains, trying to get home. Lord, we're climbing high mountains, trying to get home. Lord, we're climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains, climbing high mountains, trying to get home.
And
Thank you, Lisa, and we are with you in sentiment. I think most of us, probably all of us, and yeah, just hoping for a good result with the election. Okay, Kate Portal is our next singer, and we'll then have Kate Reigate to follow. Are you there, Kate?
Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear.
Hey, well,
yeah.
During the break, many of us were talking about John Foreman, And there aren't many songs, and people have done some amazing ones about Guy Fawkes and fireworks specifically. And as we know, political conflict aren't new. I won't give too much of a climax about this. And we were saying that John had problems or has problems, he claims, in remembering words. And so do I. And I'm going to try and do the song justice. If I have to reach for the words, I might, but I'll try and do it without. I'll sing you a doleful tragedy. Guy Fawkes, the Prince of Sinisters, he once blew up the House of Lords, the King and all his ministers. At least that is, he would have done. But there is little doubt, sir, there's one small thing prevented him. That is, he was found out, sir. There was one thing prevented him. That is, he was found out, sir. And so he stole from Lambeth side and wished the state was undone. And he passed over Vauxhall Bridge and come that way to London. At least he would have come that way to perpetrate his guilt, sir. But the river was too wide to jump and the bridge was not yet built, sir. Over to you. The river was too wide to jump and the bridge was not yet built, sir. And passed he through the dreary vaults at witching time of night, sir, and resolved to fire the powder train with portable gas lights, sir. That is to say, he would have used the gas, but was prevented. For gas, they say, in King James's day, had not yet been invented. For gas, they say, in King James's day, had not yet been invented. And when they caught him in the act, the lighted fuse was blazing. They telephoned to Scotland Yard, said, quick, fetch Inspector Fabian. That is to say, they would have done, but they would have done, but, for fear that he was no starter act. But Fabian got no 999 calls because he wasn't born till after that. Well, Fabian got no 999 calls because he wasn't born till after that. Oh, they, at last they put poor Guy to death for ages to remember. But Guy, he cannot die again in dreary old November. Oh, for every year he'll die again in dreary old November. At least, of course, the effigy for truth is sure and steady. And Guy, he cannot die again because he's dead already. Well, Guy, he cannot die again because he's dead already.
Come on, Kate. Brilliant. Brilliant.
And spot on as well.
Cracking song, Kate. And yeah, lots of words. Well done on that. Okay, so our next singer is also a Kate Reigate, who I know has visited us before, but I think it has not sung here before. So big welcome for Kate. And after Kate, Declan Coyne. Oh, Kate, you're shaking your head. Is you're not declining, are you?
No, I'm just very scared.
Oh, don't be afraid. Big hand for Kate to introduce you.
I'm going to sing a Halloween song, a ghost song. My true love sailed upon a tender, and where he is I do not know. It's 7 long years I'm constantly waiting, since he crossed the Bay of Biscay. One night as Mary lay sleeping, a knock came to her bedroom door, and there she spied her Willie standing, his two pale cheeks as white as snow. I'll drop it down a bit. Oh, Willie dear, where are those colours? Those colours I knew long years ago. Oh, Mary dear, the wild waves dash them. I am only the ghost of your Willie, oh. Oh, Mary dear, the dawn is breaking. I fear it's time for me to go. I am leaving you quite broken-hearted, while I cross the Bay of Biscay, oh. If I had all the gold and money and all the silver in Mexico, I'd grant it all to the Queen of Erin, for to bring me back my Willie, oh. My Willie sailed upon a tender, and where he is I do not know. For 7 long years I'm constantly waiting, since he crossed the Bay of Biscay. Oh, thank you.
Well done. Well done. Well sung.
Well sung, Kate.
Well done, Kate. Glad you did not allow your fear to stop you. Yeah, thank you. So our next singer is going to be Declan Coyne, and after Declan, one from Martin Nail, please.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
Certainly can.
Yeah, Cathy Dent spoiled my fun tonight because, well, in Britain anyway, your pubs can serve drink, can they? In Ireland, they can't serve drink anymore. So I was wondering what I was going to sing tonight, and the pub with no beer came into my head, but I kind of changed the words a little bit a while ago, and this is what I came up with. The pub can't sell no beer. Oh, it's lonesome away from your kindred and all, by the fireside at night, and your neighbors can't call. But there's one thing more lonesome, morbid and drear. It's a terrible thing when the pubs can't sell beer. Now the publican's anxious for the lockdown to go. There's a faraway look on the face of old Joe. The maid's gone all cranky and the cook's acting queer. It's a terrible thing when the pub can't sell beer. Oh, the farmer walks up with his dry, dusty throat. He stands at the door, he unbuttons his coat. But the smile on his face quickly turns to a sneer when he reads the sign, this pub can't sell beer. Now there's a dog on the veranda, for his master he'll wait. But the boss is inside, wiping tabs from the slate. He hurries for cover and he cringes in fear. It's no place for a dog when the pub can't sell beer. Old Billy the blacksmith, the first time in his life, he went home cold sober to his darling wife. He walks in the kitchen, she says, "You're early, me dear." Then he breaks down and tells her the pub can't sell beer. Oh, it's lonesome away from your kindred and all, by the fireside at night, and your neighbors and all. But there's one thing more lonesome, morbid and drear. It's a terrible thing when the pub can't sell beer.
Well done.
Well done, Declan.
Say you'd rewritten the words, Declan. Can't hear you. You'll have to unmute again. Oh, video's gone. Still can't hear you. Never mind. We'll move on. Okay. So Martin Neil is our next singer, and Martin will be followed by Deirdre and oh, Declan, you're with us.
Yeah, I'm back. I was stuck for a song tonight without repeating a song, so that kind of came into my head, and about 2 hours before you started, I got the words of the pub with no beer, and I just switched a few word lines.
Brilliant. Well done.
The first thing I ever sung that I wrote myself, or half
Excellent.
wrote. Bit nervous about it. So.
Okay, great stuff. So Martin's our next singer, and after Martin, Chris and Deirdre.
Right, yeah, I think Declan was lucky that Kathy didn't get in first with that song. And I hope you can hear me, because the sound has been dreadful for me. So I don't know whether that's just my computer, my connection, or whether things are generally awful. But I'll have a go anyhow. And this is a song which actually, you just from some words in the middle of it, you obviously work out, oh, it must have been written during the First World War. Bum. And a musical song. Things are bad, awfully bad. In fact, they've never been worse before. But every single chappie can make a girl quite happy. Food is dear, rent is dear, but love is cheap for the time of year. So grab the nearest miss and whisper as you kiss. In these hard times, you've got to put up with anything. In these hard times, you mustn't pick or choose. And if you're nice and treat her right, she'll ask you home tomorrow night. If you don't mind sitting without a light in these hard times. Mrs. Green, rather mean, wound out last Saturday marketing, and there down in the gutter saw a codfish on a shutter. She felt its gums, pushed her thumbs around the fish, and she cried, "Oh crumbs, it don't look nice at all." And the coster had to bawl. In these hard times, you've got to put up with anything. In these hard times, you mustn't pick or choose. That codfish, it's a sacrifice. I ask ya, mum, would you look nice if you had been torpedoed twice in these hard times? Farmer Brown up to town, spent the day at the cattle show, then went to wet his whistle inside the Hotel Thistle. Lady fair, sitting there with all her back and her shoulders bare, said Farmer Brown alack, as he viewed her dainty back. In these hard times, anything in these hard times, you mustn't pick or choose. That fancy kind of dress you wear leaves all your back and shoulders bare, but you're lucky to be dressed up to there in these hard times. In these hard times, you've got to put up with anything. In these hard times, you mustn't pick or choose. That fancy kind of dress you wear leaves all your back and shoulders bare, but you're lucky to be dressed up to there in these hard times. Hard times.
Oh, beautiful.
Very nice.
It's not the easiest tunes to sing, are they?
That's a great one, Martin. I don't think I've heard you sing that. So, yeah, great. It's been quite a cheerful evening, hasn't it? Yeah, great deal of cheer and choruses. Good stuff. Okay, so Chris and Deirdre, is over to you. We've almost run out of hands. Oh, Elizabeth Block has put up a hand. I also had Martha Burns expressing interest. But yeah, okay. Well, it'll be Chris and Deirdre, and then Elizabeth, and that will be, I think, it for the evening. I'm afraid. Okay. Over to Chris and Deirdre.
Go ahead, Doc.
Okay, I thought about singing a really grim coal mining song, but no, I think I have to change the mood here. All right, there's a chorus, you all, I have to imagine you singing it. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. I know we are. We are going, heaven knows where we are going. I know we are. It may be hard, I know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we are going. Heaven knows where we are going. I know we are. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. I know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. I know we will. It may be hard, I know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows how we will get there. I know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows when we will get there. I know we will. We will get there. Heaven knows when we will get there. I know we will. It may be hard, I know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but we will get there. Heaven knows when we will get there. I know we will. And when we get there, all will be well when we get there. I know it well. And when we get there, all will be well when we get there. I know it well. It may be hard, I know, and the road may be muddy and rough, but when we get there, all will be well when we get there. I know it well.
We're able to see him.
Today's
Chris, you've been muted again. It's over to you.
So today's election day in the United States. We're in Brooklyn, New York. I'm wearing my Captain America t-shirt.
And I'm wearing my pearls for RBG.
And I'm going to sing a song called God and the Orange Clown, which was composed for the 2018 midterms by Ian Robb, who is a wonderful singer, concertina player, and Morris dancer who lives in Canada. At the risk of being accused of foreign interference. It's a great song, and I think it's very apropos. I've adjusted some of the one or two of the verses along the way, but here we go. When your forests turn to ash, when your fields all turn to dust, when your islands are awash, how will you choose? Who will you trust? When the mudslides hurtle down, who will you turn to for recourse? When your greens all fade to brown, who will you blame? Who will you curse? And still you go to church to pray, leaving your children to atone. This world you've left in disarray is not God's work, it is your own. When tornadoes wreck your town, when the tempest scours your coast, will you still heed the orange clown? Will you still cheer his every boast? When it's time to make your choice, whose truth, whose lies will you believe? Will you ignore the braying voice? Will you refuse to be deceived? Or will you go to church to pray, leaving your children to atone? This world you've left in disarray is not God's work, it is your own. When at last the seas run dry, and when rocks melt in the sun, and when you can no more deny, then you will see what you have done. When our children foot the bill, when our children pay the cost, then you will see what has been done. Then you will know what has been lost. And still you go to church to pray, leaving your children to atone. This world you left in disarray is not God's work, it is your own. So good people all awake, fight the tide or surely drown. For your blessed children's sake, drive away the orange clown. Oh, good people all awake. tide or surely drown. For your blessed children's sake, drive away the orange clown. And still you go to church to pray, leaving your children to atone. This world you've left in disarray is not God's work. It is your own. It's not God's work. It is your own.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah.
Another good one, Chris. Thank you for that. It's over to Elizabeth to close the evening. We did have some other people with hands up, but they've gone down, and that therefore takes us very nicely up till 11 o'clock. So over to you, Elizabeth.
I think that may be only Ian Robb's second political song. The first one was about Stephen Harper. This is, I'm an American and a Canadian. I live in Toronto. I mailed my ballot 6 weeks ago. This is by Tom Galla, who lives in Philadelphia, brought to the Toronto Song Circle by Steve Schoenfeld, who lives in Philly and also in Toronto. I'm looking at the witch hazel blooming in the garden, bright yellow flowers in the middle of winter time, and I tell my heart be strong like the witch hazel flower, and you will not be injured by this dark and troubled time. I take myself along to a place I know in winter. I look at that south-facing bank covered with ice, and I tell my heart it all will melt and run down to the ocean, and you will not be injured by this dark and troubled time. We must say goodbye to the ones we love. We must say goodbye to many. And we must say goodbye in far too short a time. But I tell my heart, be thankful for the time we had together. And you will not be injured by this dark and troubled time. And this verse I wrote. The times are full of menace, of danger we rightly fear. Hatred turns to violence far away and near. If we look out for our neighbor, protect and defend each other, then we shall not be injured by this dark and troubled time. I'm looking at the witch hazel blooming in the garden, bright yellow flowers in the middle of winter time. And I tell my heart, be strong like the witch hazel flower, and you will not be injured by this dark and troubled time.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Well
Salt
said.
rating.
Lovely.
A great verse.
And yeah, and very appropriate too.
Well, everything crossed for that. Okay.
Thank you to everybody who sang.
She thought she would, but she didn't.
Wonderful.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Some fantastic songs. Great song to end on, Elizabeth. Thank you for bringing that. And yeah, thank you to everyone who listened. And I hope that those who didn't sing tonight will get a chance in future. Thanks to Livy on the mute button.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect this evening, Livy. Yeah. and thinking of you all in America.
Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Yes.
I think it's been very nice for us to spend some time with you guys over there today.
Yes.
Got your own problems there, but
At least the pubs are open here.
Yeah.